Hello everyone, and welcome back. So, as the humdrum of battle dies down, I think we'll jump maybe 5 minutes back in the past.
Dun dun.
And Grim. So you are you find yourself sitting in the back of this small wagon. English language. The guardsman who is sort of sitting next to you in the car as you're rapidly sort of approaching Silvercrag, like hands you a canteen of water and you sort of take a drink from it. Yeah, the guy up at the head of the column of soldiers calls back to you and says, town's in sight. Looks like everything's still under control.
Yes. No, I expect them to have delayed the army sufficiently. Like,
well, we're still maybe 15 minutes from our destination, but they seem to have done a good job. I was kind of expecting to see the whole thing on fire.
Same, dude. Right.
No, like they may not be many, but they do have some skills.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, leader.
Well,
Look, otherwise I wouldn't have left you alone.
Here's a point.
I guess I'm looking forward to meeting them then.
He is going to be so disappointed.
So you sort of you're like standing up in the back of the cart, like leaning over the edge and like looking at the town. When sort of carried very faintly on the wind, you sort of like you hear a horn.
Huh. Oh, I assume that's the battle horn.
Well, from this distance, it's kind of hard to tell, but
Well, considering we know what's
yeah,
happening, but I would have expected.
you can make that assessment.
But would Grim make that assessment?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is Grim can make that assessment.
Well, if it comes from like if I can tell if the direction it's coming from, I will probably make that assessment.
Yeah, it's coming from that direction. Yeah.
Yeah, because they also used the horn whilst you were there last time.
Oh yes, different horn, but yeah.
Yes.
Same style of communicating things.
Yep.
Yeah. You sort of perk up. Nobody else seems to have noticed it.
Well, we might not have all that. We might not have as much time as I was hoping for. I heard a horn in distance.
Guard sort of looks up and says, "What kind of a war horn?"
Well, like yesterday or the day before when we encountered them, they.
Your conversation is cut short by an explosion.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I
me.
forgot about that. Yeah.
That'd be me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. They've made contact.
Contact?
Just like, yeah.
Guards are going to be so confused.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
just-
just made contact.
yeah, just like a plume of blue fire is like barely visible above like rooftops. The guards begin to like sort of scramble and pick up the pace.
Here's the question: does Grim
don't be
know
too
that her
alarmed.
fire is blue?
Well,
Yes.
I assume that we've
Yeah.
we've been
Well,
together
Grim's
for
seen
months.
me cast fireball before.
Oh, okay, well, so then he would definitely know that.
Well,
Grim has
you've
seen
been
me cast
you've been
fire.
on missions before together as well, so.
Also, yeah.
Alright.
Also, you used
Also, yeah.
fireball in our previous fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh, right.
Like, this is the
So,
thing.
yeah.
All of her fire spells are blue.
Hmm.
Blue
Yeah,
fire.
I figured they would all be blue, so.
Blue, dabba-dee,
Well,
dabba-dee,
that would be the wizard.
The Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz!
What?
There you go, Elizabeth is the Wizard of Oz.
So
It's green, it should be green.
you
No, the Wizard of Oz is blue now.
you spur the horses onwards. It's you're still quite a ways out as you watch like a couple more explosions, just boom, boom, poosh.
I'm so happy.
You eventually sort of at the hastened pace pull into town like a few minutes later, to sort of find the town is like untouched, and as you sort of like race through to the other side, you come out the other side and like basically amidst like a set of like rudimentary defenses, there's like a whole bunch of like blast craters, scorch marks, deceased goblins, a couple of like ogres that have like got various limbs missing. Like as you're walking forward, you like kick something that you think is a tree branch, and it's just like a severed ogre arm, like lying 100 feet away
Oh
from.
god! Yeah, I forgot because the big guy with the thing on his back lost both his arms.
Yeah, this is like a severed ogre arm, like laying like a couple of 100 feet from the battle.
Oh, we're getting close.
We're getting close.
I want to know what these poor like guards.
Poor guards!
So
These
like.
guards thought they were coming in to save us, in reality we're
We've
just
already
fucked
done
shit
it.
up.
Yeah, like there's like a rank of like 60 guardsmen like coming up behind you as you're like picking up this ogre arm out of the dirt that's like bigger than you are. Just like push it to one side.
Watch the limbs. You don't want to fall over them.
That's the Grim we all
That's
love.
the Grim that we know.
That's grim.
And so yeah, eventually you are back on the battlefield. Kelariis, Arya, and Elizabeth, you've had about like sort of 5 minutes to sort of gather your breath, as nothing has happened. The guy on his mount is still sort of like sitting there, like just comfortably. Like they've moved back a bit, like out of arrow range. The retreating bugbears sort of like retreated back to the army, and a couple more sort of a couple of like a handful of goblins and hobgoblins have like emerged from the rocks like around the corner that seem to have like bolstered the forces, but they just seem to be sitting there.
I really
I
don't trust this.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to imagine we say that at the same time.
Yeah,
Yup.
just like Arya and Kelariis just turn to each other in unison and say, "I don't like this."
Okay.
I would say we could go talk to them, but I don't really want to get that close.
Yeah. I mean, Elizabeth's half tempted to just shout up there at them. See if they can hear us.
I don't know, they're pretty far away.
They're over 300 feet away.
Shout really.
I've got
loud.
impressive lung capacity. I can
Oh,
hold my breath
no!
forever.
Well, like it's.
Well, that's
Can be
different
fun.
from shouting loudly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
Well, like shouting at like 300 feet. That's like down the street.
So, do you want?
Oh, guys, I wish I had fucking sky right.
Skyride.
Do you
God.
do you guys
I'd
do
like to
anything
use
in the
that.
5 minutes that you have?
I mean, I don't want to get close enough to shout 'cause it seems too risky.
Well, yeah, Elizabeth, do you think that you can send?
Oh, Minnie, you might want to reset your character sheet.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned.
So I say that again?
Lyra is gonna back up.
Yeah, I was asking if Scarlet
Okay.
could if you'd feel comfortable setting Scarlet to look around, but
Why can't
yeah,
I?
I will still fall back a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea.
yeah, I also don't know if that's a good idea, but it's like if you're up to that, that's
I mean,
an option.
I could send Scarlet up to see what she could see, but I don't want to send her closer to them.
Oh yeah, not
would
like
be
close to
fine.
them.
Yeah. I guess yeah. I'll send Scarlet to get more of a bird's eye view.
What is the earth elemental doing? Because it's currently just standing in a field making earth elemental noises.
Yeah, I want it to stand in the field making earth elemental noises and looking threatening.
Okay.
Because that thing lasts an hour, I think.
Yeah.
Hot damn, that's a long time.
Okay, so that's all you're doing. You're just retaking positions.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Grim,
Warming up.
you walk towards this line of barricades, and your companions are just sort of like hunkered down, like in behind a bunch of defenses.
See the...
I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry. As you look up, you can sort of see that there still seems to be a number of goblinoids like arrayed on the hillside that seem to be hanging back for now.
Okay.
I almost wonder if maybe we should take the fight to that.
I don't think that's
Oh.
smart. They know the terrain better than us.
I guess
Also,
I'll
there's
just...
only 4 of us.
I'll walk
Yeah.
up and try and, well... I'll ask you guys,
Grim's like
so-
wading through like what is almost like waist deep mud for him. Just
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, I'll get through the mud
We'll
eventually.
get there eventually, buddy.
This is where we could use that harness that lets Grim stand on Kelariis' shoulder.
Oh my god.
For fuck's sake.
Oh,
Fuck my life.
it's fine.
Sometime that's gonna happen.
We need to make it happen.
So what's the situation here? I can see you didn't manage to delay them quite long enough, but I guess you held
What
out.
are you talking about? We
What do you mean
fine.
they're up there?
Yeah. No, well, I was expecting us to have the army here when they arrived, but it's
I mean, we can't
fine.
control when they show up. Also, do you have the army? This is
I assume they are
yeah, they're like slowly sort of like walking up behind you, like making like slow progress through the mud.
okay, great. Yeah, I'm not sure what's exactly happening right now. They fell back a while ago and they haven't moved since.
Yeah,
I
it's been
don't
about 5
trust
minutes. They brought a lot, but we've... And then Elizabeth just sort of like cast her gaze over the carnage, just go, we've blooded their noses, to say the least.
Yeah.
done a good job of dealing with them.
I mean, you said delay that. We
We
what
did that.
planned.
You just look out across like the craters in the mud.
From the fireballs, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just this huge patch of thorns.
Thinking of it.
It literally looks like a World War II battlefield.
Yeah.
Well, luckily I've never seen that before, so...
No.
Yeah.
Description for the players.
Yeah, no, yeah. So what's the plan for currently?
No.
We're not sure. We don't want to get too close. We're worried, I guess, because we're a little paranoid they might be up to something. But on the other hand, like, I don't know.
Now that we
Also,
have the army, we're in a
give me
little
a second, because if Scarlet is 100 feet up, I'd like to go Scarlet
Okay.
Pseudo Dragon, give me sight beyond sight, and
Yeah.
see and hear what she's seeing and hearing.
So yeah, Elizabeth goes, "Hold on a minute," and her eyes just roll back in her head. Just yeah. So make me a perception check for Scarlet.
Yeah. And Scarlet gets advantage. Because she's a good girl.
It's just like soaring on the updrafts.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So as you're like looking out over this battlefield, you can see the trail behind the goblins winds a little way up the mountain into a little gorge, and progressing down the gorge looks like what seems to be like a second wave of reinforcements. A number more hobgoblins, an ogre or two.
But it's just like, I guess the thing is like, the force we just encountered was like the vanguard, so it was more elite troops. Like there's only like 1 or 2 ogres.
Difficult.
Last time there was like quite
Yeah,
a few.
difficult to tell from the sort of the level of skill, but you definitely faced a shock force of units, and
Yeah.
this is the backup that was
Yeah,
hanging back.
cool. I guess looking at that, I'd call.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other things that you sort of take in is they seem to be constructing like sort of their own meager sort of like makeshift defenses. Like they've pulled some boulders down from like the side of the road and are using them as cover. And the bugbear who is riding on the top of his mount, it appears to be in a heated discussion with the 2 hobgoblins and the bugbear.
Oh, the ones who went back.
No, the ones he was with initially. They seem to be some sort of bodyguard.
Okay. Is that everything then?
Come down and fight us.
That seems to be, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll call Scarlet back, go back to my own senses, and she'll just say, from the looks of it, they're bunkering down. What's left of their forces are bunkering down. Who we presume is their leader is currently engaged in quite heated discussion, and they have reinforcements on the way. The path we see winds a lot further down, and then there's a gorge beyond that. There's a lot of reinforcements coming through that gorge, but what we faced here was clearly a vanguard, like, meant to hit hard, impact, and then the reinforcements would come in.
Can we get there before the reinforcements do?
I don't know, how far away did the reinforcements look?
You're fairly intelligent, so I would say at an estimation, you could get there before reinforcements arrive, but you'd have like a matter of minutes before the reinforcements turned up.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess she'd relay that back saying, we could, but we'd only have a few minutes.
Maybe it's worth it.
I mean, if we're talking rather than fighting.
So how many soldiers do we have?
We've got 50...
Yeah, like 50 or 60 Helmsguard, which are basically like not fantastically great soldiers, but they're like realm soldiers.
They know their way around a sword, or whatever.
Pretty standard foot soldiers.
Spears and short swords are their preferred tools.
Yeah, they could easily take down bandits and goblins, but ogres and earth elementals are maybe a bit out of their league.
Yeah, the ogres are the thing that outmatch them quite significantly. The bugbears as well, to a degree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we should just set up again down here now that we have more soldiers. I feel like giving up this advantaged spot is a bad idea.
Well, we can still hold the vantage spot, but we can also attempt talks, because as we know, all these mercenaries have been going in under false pretenses.
How about we attach a letter or something to an arrow and fire it over there, or have...
That could work.
Yeah,
However,
that's fine.
if they don't respond, well, we will, of course, lose our
Well-
opening.
Well,
Like,
I mean, we could. I guess we could almost send them like almost an ultimatum, but like not like super aggressive.
what I'm thinking is,
I don't know. I could definitely write something up. I've got a fancy
what I-
hand.
what I was thinking is we challenge them to their leader to a duel,
Okay.
because, well, strength is obviously very important to this guy. However, he's also willing to be a little bit sly, or well,
Yeah.
tricksy, as we seen was our bear friend.
Was that Sly and Trixie? What did they do with him that was Sly and Trixie?
Apply silver to the weapons.
Technically, I'm not sure that's being Sly and Trixie. That's
He has demonstrated a tactical intelligence.
Look, I'm all open for the idea of sending a message. but I wouldn't go as far to call him sly and tricksy. Like, them using silver was them going, okay, we literally can't kill this guy. What do we do? It was like a leveling of the playing field.
Yeah, but still...
It's like if you were to fight Kelariis with no armor, you'd go, right, what can I do to level the playing field and put your own armor on? That's not really being tricksy.
Yeah, but like,
This
it's
is a
still...
conversation of semantics, and I think that really
I-
what we want to do here is
Yeah, we
make
don't
contact.
Yeah.
we don't have time for that.
Yeah, I can try and write something up. I've got a fancy pen writing hand. I'm pretty sure I bought stuff with me.
It's like rummaging through your backpack.
Yeah, she like rolls to the backpack
Yeah.
and she's like, yeah, I've got pen, ink, parchment.
Okay.
Be disappointed in you and a wizard if you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. She's a wizard and she's a scholar. If she didn't have pen and paper, what kind of a shitty scholar is she?
Yes. Well, I guess we'll have. Do people agree to this plan? So we can either. Okay, there's two options that I'm thinking of. We ask for, well, negotiations or just peace talks, something along those lines, or we challenge them, or more specifically, their leader. And hopefully they take the bait. And I will admit, like, I am not sure how this duel will work out, but I believe either me or Kelariis should be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good.
Well, I'm all for just.
I don't think they would allow Lyra in the duel.
Yeah. Well, I think
No.
I think we should start with a more peaceful attempt at negotiation.
Well, we
And
only
then if
get
they
one
don't
shot
fight,
at
go
this.
for the challenge.
And this guy listens to aggression, so I
Well-
say we challenge him to a duel.
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth just gestures the carnage. It's like, I think we've shown him aggression.
That's not the same as a personal
Challenge.
fight. This you can just regard them as weaklings. If you lose yourself, then there's no excuse. There's no excuses.
So, does everyone want to issue a challenge then?
As I say, you've impressed him on damage and aggression. Now you just need style and control.
Oh my god, you massive nerd. You're such a massive nerd. I love that Robot Wars reference. Anyway. Right. So we're sending him a challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will whip out. So yeah, in that case, Elizabeth will whip out pen and paper and start writing. Which also
Okay.
means I'm going to open up Notepad and write something.
Okay. Do you want anybody's help while you do that?
Well, I think we should make sure that we get all the points in there that we want. Chance your duel. Upon refusal,
Well, hang on. I'm going to open with. I've got an idea for an opening, at least.
I was more like I was trying to figure out what we actually want in there because we can we challenge you is not really specific enough. I feel like we need a way for him to respond. We need a.
I mean, they could just shoot an arrow.
I mean,
back.
we can literally shoot us back, or we can just say, if you come down.
I feel like we need something more in the middle for that because just walk into your enemies if you accept the duel. That's that's not a brilliant
we
mind
have
from.
honor.
Yep, he doesn't know that.
I mean, if they accept, lay down their arms and surrender, that's the terms.
Yeah, surrender or meet us in the pit.
Meet us in the pit, bitch.
It's basically that is the essence of what we are selling. This
Yeah,
group,
pretty much.
So
Pretty much. I think the only problem is what do we offer him if we lose? Because I feel like that's.
important.
Well, I feel like we offer him the
I mean-
village. Like we don't have to be when. Like we won't.
I mean, we
actually
don't
offer
offer
the
him
village.
anything. We say we have you outnumbered and have you. outforced.
Yeah, I guess we just say this is
This
your
is it.
chance to leave.
This is your chance to
without
give up. We're
suffering
like,
more
we're not giving up.
casualties.
Yeah. You're at a disadvantage. Back off.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if you can think of something to offer and, like, in return if we lose, then by all means, but I don't think that we should put the village on the line.
Well, see, just because I said that doesn't mean I would honor it. This was more of a strategic move to make it more tempting.
I guess the real question is as well, is this a fight to the death? I really
Well-
hope not. That's probably not a good idea.
I think we'll see how the duel goes, and we'll.
Like, first draw blood?
Nah. It'll have to be more than that from what it sounds
Yeah, they'll probably have to be incapacitated.
I suppose.
I don't
You know
think
what?
it's.
Okay, how about we say
I guess I'll just leave that.
we
that
challenge
bit
you to a
non-specific.
duel, and the winner sets the terms. Does that can mean any?
No. No, I think we have to be strong. We have to say, look, you're at a disadvantage. This is your one chance to surrender. Like, I like the idea of this duel, but I don't. Like, I'm not gonna just lay down my weapons if one of you loses.
Okay, so okay, how about, right, we challenge your leader to one-on-one combat. If you accept our terms, we will let you and your forces go.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but like, the problem
Like,
is
accept the duel, and we will allow you and your forces to leave unharmed.
see, the problem with that statement is that is like assuming that they have lost. If they thought they lost, they wouldn't be there. They would have retreated.
I mean, they have lost this part of the engagement. They did retreat.
Yes, but they lost the battle, but the war's not over.
Yeah, well, we're giving them a chance to end the war now that we've won the battle.
Yeah, but like if they assume they couldn't win this, why would they still be here? Like, and you're saying like we'll allow
Well, I
you
mean-
to cowardly run away,
Well,
which against a guy who is all about show of strength. That's like saying if you kill yourself, you can go. It's like
That's why I
Also-
don't think this whole duel thing is gonna work.
yeah, I
Like,
don't
just-
know if the duel's gonna work.
Like, I feel like he's just gonna.
Unless we just say, you know, we ask for your
Look.
surrender and propose. I don't know,
also
we could
our window
try
is
to negotiate.
basically gone now already. We've been arguing for so long over nothing.
Well, yeah, you're right. Well,
Look.
how do we word this then?
Okay. We challenge your greatest fighter against our greatest fighter to settle this dispute.
If you want to get him interested, we have a better chance if we tell him, or if we frame it as having a chance to prove himself and his forces again. As I just forgot the word I wanted to use. Being better then. That's not. There's a word that I meant to use and then I immediately lost it.
A method of retaining his dominance over
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
a chance to
So we
save
challenge-
face.
Yes.
Okay. So so far, what I've written down is, you see what we can do to your forces. In order to avoid further deaths, we propose an alternative. We challenge your best fighter to engage our own best fighter. In fact, I might change fighter to warrior because it sounds better.
You might want to put it less politely.
I mean, I'm polite.
But politeness does not convey strength.
Okay. Okay, good point.
All of you gets is naff. You want a proper scrap?
Oh my god!
Look,
I was gonna say.
In order to avoid further deaths, we suggest you accept our terms.
We've invested your forces.
We're offering you a chance to save what little face you have left.
Yeah, exactly.
Accept our terms, or we will destroy you.
I like high five Arya.
If you accept,
Yeah, words.
like,
Accept our terms or be destroyed.
if you accept the terms, sound the horn once, and we'll meet you in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, they've seen that we have honor in the sense that we didn't just murder the people that were
running.
running
Yeah.
temporarily, but they surrendered for a
Okay.
moment.
You've vested your forces. We offer you a chance to save what little face you have left. Challenge your best warrior to engage our own best warrior. If you accept, sound the horn once, and we'll meet you halfway.
If not, we'll destroy you. Those are your options.
Well, yeah. If not, prepare to dig your own grave.
If not, we shall finish what we have started.
There we go.
That's better.
That's properly intimidating. Alright, I guess if Elizabeth writes that out, I'll take it and shoot it across. Shoo.
Okay, so the arrow arcs off through the sky.
There's our message. Oh, I typoed.
Yeah. We have
We have besties, your forces.
We have besties, your forces.
besties, your forces. Yeah, we're best friends now. We're like so close. We're, like,
Kicked them right in the besties.
Ooh.
those besties.
Yeah, we've bested your forces.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's the message.
as the arrow arcs through the air, comes scattering down to the ground. At first, it doesn't seem to have been noticed. Until one of the one goblin sort of like scurries forth from the barricade, like sort of snatches the arrow and disappears back. A few moments pass as everyone is out of sight. And then around from this stony barricade that is like halfway through being constructed, the large bugbear, still atop his mount, sort of like comes around the corner, and one of the hobgoblins is like following behind and appears to sort of like be angrily like trying to still debate something. At which point, like the bugbear like turns around, puts his hand like on the hobgoblin's shoulder, says something. The hobgoblin like appears to like back down for a moment, walks back behind the barricade, and then comes back with the other hobgoblin and the bugbear. And yeah, slowly lumbering down the hill on the mount is the large bugbear. And as he gets about halfway down the path, he sounds the horn. You think you may have what you asked for?
Well,
I guess we leave the troops here.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell them to be ready, though.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, tell them to be ready for combat. If things go south, they're the last line of defense for the village.
So, for the sake of not drawing a whole new battle map,
We'll just
we'll
imagine
use the-
two walls.
we'll use the edge of this one.
Yeah. The elementals, like...
did we decide who we're actually sending in?
I don't think so.
Well, we can all go.
We should probably do that.
We are the representatives of the force.
He does seem to be bringing a
He's
retinue.
he's
So
bringing
that is-
bodyguards, so we can go as a party.
Everyone stow your weapons.
Also, hang on a sec. I'm going
Does
to
he
check.
have weapons stowed, or does he have them out? The bugbear.
He doesn't have it out, but he has basically what is like, I think it's a greatsword he has.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it's a flail. So he basically has like a massive wooden pole with like massive heavy spiked chains like dangling from his back that he can pull in a second.
Okay.
You know what? I'm actually gonna bring. I feel like it's probably safer to bring the elemental, but keep the elemental back.
Yeah,
So he's there and within sight, but
like-
not like right behind us.
this flail, by the way, like the heavy spiked metal weights on the end. As you get closer, like Kelariis, these things are like the size of your forearm,
Ah.
and there's like 8 of them on this flail.
So basically,
Um,
Sauron.
No, because Sauron has a mace.
Whatever.
Well,
But yeah, striding towards you on the back of a massive cat that, as you get closer, Arya, I want you to make me a nature check. Okay. You have no idea what this thing is. But he is on top of a mount. That is, it looks like a tiger or a mountain lion or something. Except as you come closer, like currently laying flat across its flanks and like curling at the edges, protruding from like its head and shoulders, it appears to have like several long appendages that look like snakes.
Creepy.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So yeah, he turns up
I don't
along
wanna lose
with.
concentration if they like decide to betray us.
He also has an entourage. Oh, that's not the right token. Yeah, he's accompanied by 2 hobgoblins and a bugbear. And yeah, as you get to like the edge of the pass, he dismounts, like pats his steed on the flank, and says something that you don't understand. And the steed sort of like stretches out, revealing like a set of razor sharp talons, and then lies down. The rest of the entourage finger weapons nervously, but he steps forward 2 paces, and we'll also change the track. As yeah, this huge bugbear, probably approaching 7, like, well, exceeding 7 feet tall into almost like approaching 8 feet tall. He is covered head to toe in, I think it is, a steel breastplate and chain. His biceps are exposed, though as exposed as they can be, they're covered in a thick, wiry hair and bound with heavy muscle. He unsheaths from his back like a massive, what to him is like a tower shield, but like is almost as tall as Kelariis. And he doesn't unsheath his flail just yet, but he has the shield at the ready, and he walks towards you and loudly proclaims, "So, you want to bargain?"
I'll take a few steps forward and... Well, we see no need for unnecessary bloodshed over an issue that has been resolved recently. As we are quite aware that your anger like mostly stems from these random, well, people wandering in and killing or well, it's attempting to kill, in some cases, your people. However, the reason behind this has been resolved, and yeah, like we don't want to wipe you all out without good reason.
He
It's,
sort of like throughout this he's like staring levelly down at you, and as a tactically minded individual, he is like assessing your strengths and weaknesses.
well, I guess I might as well do the same whilst I'm talking to him.
I mean, you actually have a feature that you can do that, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, I actually get knowledge
Yep.
from this.
Boom.
I mean, you can you can do it. You can observe him as you're having this conversation.
Guess I might as well. The important one is check his armor class, and
So what ability? What do you actually get to
this-
learn?
is his armor class above, below, or equal to 19?
His armor class is lower than 19.
And I get to know two things, and the other one that I care about is his hit points above, below, or equal to 103?
Above.
Above.
Fuck.
See, that is actually concerning.
Yeah. 'Cause that means we don't really want the person we send forward.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, he finishes assessing you as you finish your assessment and your little dialogue, and he says, "You seem to think you know a lot about me."
No, all I know is that you value strength.
That is true.
And the rest, well, it's merely assumptions based on, well, we would not be happy if the same had happened to us.
He breaks into like a snarled grin that shows off like his two large fangs that he has sticking out the bottom jaw. He says, I will admit, I came here expecting to find the bear, but I don't know where he's hiding. Sort of like scans around.
He's not here. You've got us.
The bear had other matters to attend to.
Never mind. There will be time for his payback later. So, you claim to want to end this bloodshed. It's a shame I had plenty more blood willing to be shed. But I suppose I can exchange it for some of my own.
Well, at least you don't have to miss out on the combat that way.
So, which one of you do I get to kill?
Well, I guess the real question is, well, like, who? Wait, so, what do you want to do, Kelariis? You or me? Like, I know you've. No, actually, you look fine.
Yeah. Well, we know his.
I mean,
No,
yeah, I healed him like after everybody
Like,
retreated.
Yeah,
so,
we know
Yeah,
his
like, I was-
AC is lower than 19, but his health is above. What is it, 103?
Yeah, I mean, it really. I guess this is probably something we would have decided like before actually getting
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Like, regardless.
Yeah.
I guess it like out of character it becomes a matter of whether we want to try to outlast because Grim would be better at doing that,
Yeah.
or if we would rather try to just like
Well,
The thing is, if you want to purely outstrength him, Kelariis. If you want to try and be tactical and use his strength against him, Grim.
Well, I think the main. How many smites do you have left in you?
She hasn't used any smites.
Smites. I didn't use any smites. I've used one spell slot. I'm going to use one more if I go, regardless of who goes into this, because I'm going to give a +2 AC. That is, I've not used any other spells so far.
Yeah. Kelariis is ready to go on smites.
Yeah, we didn't actually get engaged that much in this fight.
Yeah, a lot of it was.
Well, yeah,
Elizabeth
basically
on
me and
fireballs.
basically I bombed.
Yeah, and then Arya and I cleaned up trash, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth blew spell shots and killed things.
Yeah.
Because
And I've still got plenty more where that came from.
like
So
the
I've
only.
got smites and stuff.
Just, like, I have one play that is a little dirty, but like basically makes me auto win, which
Okay.
is disarming strike and then push him back and just get his weapon.
Oh yeah,
There
just
you go.
stand on his weapon.
I mean, if you want to go for it, I will. I
I
guess
admit
buff you
that
as
I
best
am
I
a
can.
little concerned about the more than 100 health.
Yeah.
But we don't know by how much that is either. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he'd be more impressed with Kelariis as well because he values strength.
I mean, Grim
If you want
is
to
strong.
outstrength him,
Besides,
Okay,
I
but
can.
here's the thing: if Grim fucking beats his ass, like that would be so impressive.
Yeah.
yeah, he would be impressed by that as well. I suppose. You're
And-
also
and-
shorter than him though.
It would be David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really good. So like, I think that there are merits to either. And I think it.
I guess
like,
yeah.
it-
If we send Grim, it sends a lot more of a statement, really, doesn't it?
And like out of character, Minnie, like if you want to take the fight because you haven't had
Oh,
the chance
no,
to go
I'm-
into combat, like I'm totally fine with that.
I'm fine. I just realized as well, if I'm not in the combat, I can still instruct you to do better.
Oh, would that technically be a one-on-one though?
Yeah, I do worry that that would
Well,
invalidate.
Like,
Because
it is
if we are
literally-
quick, if we
Oh, I guess, like, I
yeah,
guess
'cause
it's
if- I
dishonorable.
fear if we do even the slightest thing to intervene, he won't like that because we did say one-on-one.
I guess that's true.
So, I think either
I-
is good. Grim will be a big
Well,
statement.
Arya
I
and
can-
Elizabeth, what do you think? Because
Yeah, I don't really have a super strong opinion. I think either one of you would do fine.
And like I can buff you a little bit, as well.
I think I honestly
this guy
have.
was in 10 feet of me.
I honestly have more faith in Kelariis
Fair enough.
just for
Wow.
the because you've both got because admittedly Grim takes less damage from attacks, but Kelariis does so much more damage with a much higher chance to hit.
That is true. Although I did recently get my third attack, so my damage
did.
did go
That
up
is
by a
pretty
lot.
Oh wow.
Also, I could. I don't. This again might count as interfering. I could, in theory, cast haste on you. That is a thing that I can do. I don't do it on myself because I'm always worried about getting hit. But
Yeah.
if I'm not in the battle,
I
Just
don't
throwing
think
that
that
out
would be allowed either. I think the second anyone starts casting spells, they're all gonna get suspicious.
well, well, for that matter, then I.
Well, I
Well,
suppose
I
if
think
anyone
if it's on
outside
myself,
of the
it's
duel
different.
if anyone outside the duel starts casting spells,
Okay.
they'll get
Well,
suspicious.
We just send Elizabeth in, like, paralyze.
Yeah, send me in,
Fireballs.
paralyze him, and I'll just stab him with my dagger a bunch.
Yeah, but if he saves and then he hits you.
Yeah, then you're in.
Then
I've
you're
got a
dead.
lot of health, and I've got shield.
No,
With
we should
shield, I've got more
probably
AC
send
than he does.
Kelariis in.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah?
send Clara.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
If that's the case, as we were, because this is something we would have decided like prior to coming up
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Well, I think the way this scene plays out is like he says, "Who do I get to kill?" You sort of like look at each other. Grim gives you the nod, and you step forward.
Okay. If that's the case, I guess it's as much of a show of like not even intimidation, but I guess it is kind of intimidation. But like, I want my radiant glow again because I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Okay. So you step forward, just like grab the the Triskelion that's like around your neck, and just
Yeah.
the aura comes back in.
Yeah.
For extra
So-
style, glowy sword.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going all out, as extra as possible.
Ching.
Here we go.
Basically a lightsaber.
He,
It's extremely unnecessary, but like.
yeah, you step forward like you're like bathed in this radiant aura, and he just like he looks at you, he grins, and he says, "Ah, I was hoping it was going to be you." And with that, we'll have initiative.
Okay.
Dun, dun,
I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
I believe in you.
Okay. Let me make sure I select my token.
Oh, nice,
Alright,
nice.
buddy.
So, do the rest of you want to roll into initiative in case you want to participate, or do you want to sort of handle that when time comes?
I don't
I guess
think
handle
we should
that when
roll in.
time comes.
I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Because
like,
for the
okay.
moment we're staying out, and I think the only reason we're ever going to intervene is if we spy unfair play.
Yeah.
and like there'll probably be a surprise round anyway in that case, so like we wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to react instantly.
Okay.
Yeah, if one of them suddenly did something, it'd be surprised.
In that case, Kelariis, let's go.
Okay. I made a mistake and did not stand close enough to start combat, which was a foolish thing on my part. But yeah, I mean, I will.
I mean,
you know
that
what, I
means you
will
can make
step-
him come to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna step
That's also
forward
style point, it's just beckon him.
to about here. I'm gonna do. Fuck, I forget the name of my thing. Is it Vow of Enmity? Is the one that gives me advantage?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that one. I'm gonna do that one.
Okay.
And then.
So what do you say to apply your vow?
Try there and give me strength.
Try there and give me strength.
Generic.
Oh god.
How about, I'm
Fuck, I
going to
didn't think
turn
about
you
this.
into a fine red mist.
I will make sure that the I will make sure that you and your people don't interfere here again.
Okay. He's marked.
Yeah, it's marked, and then I will just dodge for this round and basically sword out, shield up, ready to fucking go next round because I couldn't get to him anyway unless I dashed. And that was
Okay.
pointless.
At the end of your turn, as you are like walking towards him, with surprising speed and a legendary action, he draws a throwing axe and lobs it at your head.
Woof.
13.
No.
You bat it aside with your axe,
Axe?
with your
Sword.
shield.
Shield? One of them.
He has an axe.
He has an axe.
Um,
Well, it's not.
And yeah, I guess he is going to run towards you.
Yeah.
And launch in with his flail for 2 swings. 22 and 28.
With disadvantage.
What's the disadvantage for?
I took
Dodging.
dodge because I
Oh,
didn't
yes,
roll it forward or anything.
Yeah, so 22 and a 21.
The 22 hits.
Okay, so he brings the flail in and it strikes you in the arm, which you weren't quite ready for, like quite the impact that it hits you with. You take 10 bludgeoning damage, but you are quick enough to duck aside to the second swing.
Let me make the con save really quickly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, is that all for his
That's all for his turn for now.
For
for
today.
today? Ooh,
For today.
okay.
Wow, that's all he does the whole day? Oh,
Wow.
he's a bit
It's
capable.
one spell long rest.
What's the long
Yeah.
rest?
I have advantage on hits, and I'm just going to try to lay into him. I'll be smiting on each one, definitely.
Okay.
Nice.
Probably second level for now. So just roll both of them.
Nice.
So two regular. And do you want me to just roll them both with the smites at once?
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, hold on. It's 2 and then plus. Yeah, okay, so it's 6 total. It's not D9. Oh, that was a horrendous smite. Those were
That
bad.
really sucks.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's really bad.
That's awful 68.
Okay.
Awful.
So that is total damage. Do you get the radiant on every swing? I can't remember.
I think it's every melee attack, but let me
Okay.
check. Whenever you hit a crit, yeah, it's whenever I hit.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I get it on both.
So that's another 11. Okay, yeah, end of your turn. Is it worth him using that? I don't think it is. Hmm. Yeah, sure. He is gonna do that. So as like you swing twice and your blade bites into him where his breastplate doesn't protect him. And as your second swing hits him, he grabs your arm, just leans into your face, and just roars in a terrifying roar into your directly in front of you. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. Okay. Wait, is it to be frightened?
It is to be frightened.
I cannot be frightened.
Oh, you cannot be frightened.
Oh,
Okay.
This thing.
Just
Whoops,
stare him
not
dead
that.
on.
So you just-
Nothing.
Yep. So he roars in your face, and you just headbutt him.
Yeah. That's right, buddy.
That's right, motherfucker.
His turn. He's gonna swing
Choo-choo,
twice.
paid train.
27 and 10.
First one hits. Yeah.
Okay, 13 bludgeoning damage as the flail strikes into you again.
Okay.
Choo choo, it's the paid train.
Let me make that save. Nice. Oh, sorry, that shouldn't have been advantage, but was the first one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Your turn again.
Okay. Yeah. Same business. I guess I know it doesn't matter mechanics wise, but for flavor, I'm going for maybe. Oh fuck, that last one's.
Oh,
or
that
the
last
second
one's bad.
But to try to bring him to a knee or something. So
Okay.
It's a little easier to go at him.
Yep.
It's just a little flavor, so I'm not just I'll be
Yeah.
smacking with my sword wrench.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will
RP.
wait on that one. Give me 1 second. Just a first level, but
Okay. Okay.
That's a slightly better smite.
Uh,
it was better than the other ones, but you know.
At
Yeah.
the end of your turn, he's going to hit you again. 11, fail. So, in that case, seeing that just going at you isn't really working, he is going to attempt to grapple you with one of his attacks. So, athletics check.
Yeah. Just wait, let me advantage. 'Cause
Oh, wow, you beat him.
aha!
He's pretty good at
Oh
that.
god, I'm just. I'm not gonna say it now. Actually, never mind.
Yeah, touch wood,
Don't
touch wood.
say anything.
Touch wood. Touch wood. I'm slapping my desk with my.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it. No,
I
not
know.
now.
That's why I was like, oh god. Yeah, just knocking all the wood.
Okay, in that case, I'll just swing with his second attack. Miss! Oh my Christ, wow.
Oh, what a shame.
Out of curiosity, how after those swings that I've taken at him so far, how does that look to have affected him? Just so I can kind of gauge, maybe.
You've laid several big slashes into him, but he's still standing. He
yeah.
isn't as wounded as you would expect him to be, but he is wounded.
Okay.
Basically, a normal
Done
person would be in
63
this
so
turn,
far.
and he's standing there going, "I'm not dead. I'm getting
Okay.
better."
Yeah. More swings. If
Actually,
they
no. It's
hit,
probably
I
more.
will
It's probably more like he's going, "'Tis but a scratch."
see what up.
Damn.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh!
So the first one is. first level smite. The second one, I'm going to do a third level because why would I not?
Oh my
Yeah, why
god.
would not? But it's a crit.
I'm going to roll the first one first, and then
Yeah.
roll the second one. Oops, sorry.
Oh,
Average smite.
Uh,
God, this is so much damage.
8? That's 8d8, right? Because it's
8d8!
Yeah.
Four for
Jesus.
third
Yeah,
level. I did my
8d8 for
math
the
right.
crit.
Yeah.
4 for the third
God.
level, and then 8 for the crit.
Okay, so
Alright, buddy.
Oh my word.
Come on, buddy.
He is
Let's
super
go.
beyond.
so
Wailing.
whoosh.
Yeah.
That was
Um,
84 damage in a turn.
Oh,
As-
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ!
As one.
There's a reason. there's a reason I didn't build it this way. It's because it's DPS. That's what it is.
Okay,
as
he
a-
is.
As a YouTuber, I'd watch occasionally would say, "Welcome to Destination Fucked."
Wow. Yeah, he's looking kind of hurt from this,
Yeah,
as
I
you
can
like
imagine.
lay into him like twice. Yeah, you know what? He's really not happy. So
Yeah, it's fair.
end of your turn, legendary action. He's going to hit you. 22,
Oh, yeah, that hits him.
13 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Bitch, get on
And
it.
he-
Poor damn.
He is going to use his entire action to
Sorry.
drop his flail, drop his shield, grab your sword with both hands, and try to wrench it out of your hand.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, have you seen her big beefy dragon arm?
Have you seen his?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
he's-
almost 8 foot, and he's got beefy arms as well.
Yeah, he's
So athletics check again.
okay. Let me not have advantage checked. Oh, I don't have anything that gives me anything great for that. Oh,
Okay.
Oh
It's okay, it's okay, it's
So-
okay,
Is
look,
this
it's
gonna turn
fine.
into a
It's
fist
fine.
fight?
It's fine.
Still got cholesterol.
He
Yeah, it's okay. I still have a weapon. It's okay. It's not
Yeah.
great.
he grabs Freedom's tongue with both hands and like basically like engulfs the entire blade. And despite the fact that the blade is quite clearly just like tearing into his hands, he rips it free of your grasp and then just throws it aside.
How far?
5 feet seems reasonable.
Oh, okay. Like to which side?
To his right.
So like here. Or,
Yeah.
well, okay. So I could just so like I kind of understand. If I move to pick it up, is that like that's just an action, bonus action?
It's technically your move and interact, so you could still, in theory, attack.
Yeah.
However, he is going to use his second attack to shove you, so
Oh, okay. I mean that's
Try.
athletics again.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So
All right. That's
5,
it's-
10, and he'll catch up to you.
Oh,
That's fine.
So let's make a note.
Yeah, you've
I
still
can't
got
believe
cholesterol.
you rolled 2 nat 1s in a row.
Yeah, it was gonna happen.
Well, congratulations! We now officially have more than one nat 1 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, GG Kelariis.
It's an extra
That's
thing
okay,
for this.
It's now your turn.
Okay. That's fine. I'm going to just Misty Step and go pick up my sword.
Okay.
And
Oh,
yeah, that works.
yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Blink.
it's fine. Like this is why I was like, this is okay. I'm not super. I'm a little concerned, but I'm not like deadly concerned about this.
Pick up the sword, turn around.
How bad is he looking?
Pretty bad. Like,
Pretty bad.
he's still a beefy guy full of rage, but he is bleeding quite profusely.
Okay.
And also, his weapons are here, are like, there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
on the floor.
That's right.
So if you stand there, you're in between him and his weapons. And I don't
yeah,
think
I mean,
he can
also
teleport.
just kind of shove me again. It was. I
Good
was
shove.
trying to decide if I wanted to heal, but if he's looking pretty bad, I'm probably just gonna fucking go for it. 'Cause
Okay.
I have no self-control. Let me get my advantage for my hits. And let me just take 2 swings.
Nice, nice.
Both hit, right?
Yep.
One. Whoops. 2. And I will
Oh.
do.
That's good radiant damage on that second one.
I'm only gonna do 1 smite because that's gonna be, and I have 1 spell slot left. That's not great. But let's
I mean, you've been
see.
powering hard on the smites. I don't know if.
Ouch.
My god!
Oof.
That's
Oh, that's
Okay.
a hell of a smite.
God, maybe I should just like roll the second one too. No, I'm gonna keep 1 spell slot in reserve just in case something
Okay.
wild happens.
Yeah, in case you need to Misty Step again.
Yeah,
Besides, that's a hell of a good smite.
that was a pretty good smite actually.
Yeah.
The first one was bad. The first
Yeah,
2
your
smites
first
were
one
bad.
was more dice and less damage.
Yeah, it's like those two were your weakest
10 less
smites.
damage.
Like ever, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was
Okay,
kinda rough.
so, Kelariis,
Oh,
you
almost.
you teleport like behind him, snatch the sword off the ground, turn around. He turns to face you, like blood like dripping from both his hands, and it looks like as you run towards him, he looks like he's about to like bear hug you.
Yeah.
And you basically like strike up with the blade and then bring the pommel down. And with two really like two very forceful swings, like you managed to like cut him through the torso, like rending actually like a hole in his breastplate,
Ooh.
and then like knocking him down to one knee. And as you're like pulling back the sword again, he like drops to one hand and he's like, "Ugh, enough! I yield."
Yeah.
Woo! I won't strike a killing blow. if
Okay.
He is saying he yields. Yeah. I have.
That's what
I
you
have
get for
honor.
Okay.
For
Yeah,
facing
we have
fucking
honor.
Lauren. You didn't even
Yeah.
give her down to half health, bitch.
To be fair,
So-
Kelariis rolled very well, and he seemed to roll
He rolled
very well.
awfully.
Real awful.
Because I feel like the whole point of there was he technically also had 3 attacks for the legendary action, but he never hit any of
Yep.
them. He hit like half.
Also, I
the
feel
attack
like
rolls.
this is our luck. Like in boss battles, the boss is always rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's gonna happen next is we're gonna encounter a flood of 20 goblins, and they're gonna nearly kill
Yeah,
us.
and they're gonna overrun
Yeah,
us.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what's gonna happen.
Because I'm gonna roll 8 ones on a fucking fireball, and then they're gonna kill us.
So it's funny that you should mention that, because literally the hobgoblin who is like the hobgoblin standing furthest forward basically yells, "No, Sharg, I will not let you!" and draws a what does he have?
Well, as he says that, I want to call out to him. Take 1 step forward, and you're paced.
Okay.
Damn.
He's gonna draw a longbow and try and shoot Kelariis in the back.
Wow.
Oh, this
Uh,
son of
Oh,
a bitch.
bastard.
No honor.
14.
No.
Ting!
just like-
Okay, I know it. I heard him yell. Can I just like turn around and smack it away with my shield? Like I know that that's
Okay, like,
maybe us,
Doosh.
but
Yeah. Now I'm gonna yell.
Okay.
To him, like, try that again, and you will be paced.
Well, do you want to
Mark
roll
my
in?
words.
Do you want to all roll into initiative, because it doesn't seem like they're paying attention?
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
yeah. I guess,
I guess
can I
subdue,
don't know if
don't
I
kill.
have the option at this point, but looking down at. Do we know his name? The bugbear that I was fighting with. I think his
Sharg.
name, but I-
Yes.
It is Sharg.
Yeah. Also, he just yelled Sharg.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because like I have him basically at like my mercy. I'm not gonna execute
Yeah.
him. I'm not like fucking. I have honor.
Yeah.
I just look down at him and say, "Call off your people, and all of you leave, or all of you go and leave this town alone."
Okay.
Also, this shitty initiative, guys. What is this?
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah, it's.
Well, to be fair, none of us were.
Alright, your
prepared for
second roll was good though.
I've
Well,
been
yeah.
napping all day.
I wasn't talking about me.
it. Yeah. Grim's
Yeah.
Everybody else, yeah.
Also,
It's my first roll. It's
as a
fine.
reminder, I don't think you get your double initiative rolls anymore with the new thing, with
What?
the new class. I don't think you get that.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
So that's
Well-
technically an 11.
Rip.
The things you lose.
Yeah.
Did get buff wolf though.
Did get buff wolf. The wolf got the buff.
Oh, that puts it really well, actually. Because the other hobgoblin, seeing that, is going to also draw a longbow and fire. Whoops, I rolled that twice. 13, just like, again, just shield up, just
Yeah.
ting ting! Not even bothered. Kelariis,
I'm like a dirty look.
so you say that to
I-
him.
Yeah.
Do you act?
If anybody gets in range and is hostile, I will hit them.
Okay.
But otherwise, I want to see what he's going to do first.
Okay.
Actually, I probably should have dodged. Oh well, it's fine. I said what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So you're just holding an attack action.
Yeah.
So okay, so the next exchange is all in Goblin, so none of you can really understand it. The red-tinged hobgoblin, who seems to be like some sort of second in command, yells something in Goblin. Sharg yells something back, and I guess like the next thing that happens is yeah, I guess okay, let's make an animal handling and see how this goes.
Oh no.
Don't like that.
That's not great. I don't know what his modifier is.
Like, he doesn't have proficiency, it's just whatever his wisdom is.
I don't like that.
It's okay, I have a backup plan.
I'm trying to think how this. Okay, so those turns end with the net result being nothing.
Fantastic.
The bugbear. The bugbear is confused about his allegiance. Okay. So, important note, the bugbear does nothing, but the bugbear doesn't draw weapons.
So this guy doesn't draw weapons.
He is just he is currently just a bystander.
Okay.
Okay. So these two up here are the ones that shot?
Yes,
Yeah, two shot.
Arya.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot the guy.
Okay. Okay, hit. Okay, the arrow lodges in his throat and kills him.
Wow.
You shoot, you die.
Yeah.
We made those terms very clear.
Yeah, that is fair. We did.
Yeah. Also, I
promised
just realized
to
I
turn
didn't
them
roll
into
for the
paste.
elemental.
Okay.
To be fair.
We can still turn them into paste, just not
Yeah.
immediately.
We can... There are several
No, the
steps to
elemental's
this.
awful.
Elizabeth.
Cool. So the elementals have to grim. That's nice.
I love this giant elemental that's just standing behind us this whole time.
It's making earth
Yeah.
elemental noises.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Elizabeth's now
Very-
going to shout to this last guy. Drop that bow, or my friend here is going to have a few words.
Okay, make me an intimidation check.
Bless.
Yeah, the 20-year-olds making intimidation. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, you are backed up by an elemental.
I'm backed up by an elemental.
Yeah.
And I actually have decent charisma.
Do you?
Oh, I've got a +2 on intimidation.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's 10.
Okay.
Oh, that could be
Yeah,
Good.
that's not great.
Shrug.
distinctly average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim.
Well, there's actually. Well, I guess Is still some muddy here in the middle of the canyon?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Actually, considering I know we haven't moved the battle map, but you guys have kind of moved, so I will say no.
Okay, yeah, because that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Grim has 25 feet, not 20.
So it is muddy, but not muddy enough to slow you down.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I'm in range for anything.
No, I don't think you are.
Like I can. 7. No, not even disadvantage or anything. Nope. Oh, actually, there's one thing I am in range of. Arya, fire. Oh wait, actually, his melee attacks. Let me check. Nope.
One weapon
Arya.
attack.
Nice.
He's not dropping it! Take him down!
Alright. Pew!
Hit.
Nice.
Oh, that was,
Oh,
that was a good pew.
Look, very good.
Nice. And with that...
14
Oh, is he also
damage.
dead?
yeah, he is also dead.
Wow. They did not have a lot of health.
Not as beefy as I thought they were.
So
No,
he...
they were pretty
Arya just goes...
trash.
and just takes down 2.
Bye.
Yeah.
So with that, like the giant like the giant cat animal like lets out this like mewling like growl, sort of halfway between like a growl and a snarl, but does nothing.
Cool. Well, Earth Elemental moves to there.
Okay. And like
She's gonna put him in the way, but
so like Sharg, who's still like down on one knee, is just like, ugh, those fools. I yield to you, warriors. Call off the attack.
And do you accept our terms?
I already told you I do.
Alright. Then take your people and go.
He sort of like pulls himself up to his full height and sort of says, I guess I don't think he's ever seen a dragonborn before. So I think he just sort of says, I don't know who you are, but you're the strongest creature I've ever fought. That's saying something. You win this time.
If we see you again, we may not be so kind. So please do not betray our trust. And I will lower my sword, because I was kind of
Okay.
holding it over him, and I will, like, step to watch him and his people go.
Okay. He limps towards his mount, pulls himself like up onto it, like leaves like blood smear as he like climbs up onto it. Turns back to the rest of you and is just sort of like, fine, you get your wish. We will leave this town alone. They will pay us no more tribute. But if this is the last you've ever heard of Sharg Redpaw, then I will be disappointed. And he turns and rides off.
Sharg Redpaw? Was that the...
That was his name, yes.
Just gonna make sure
His
I
full
remember
name.
that.
Your name will also go on the list.
We actually know his name! Yay!
Oh.
First second age NPC that you actually found out what his name was.
Okay, we're not that.
Like,
we're
as soon
pretty
as we
bad.
saw him. To be fair, he told us we didn't have to ask him. Usually people don't, like... We just talk at people.
Like Shark Redpaw?
Sharg Redpaw.
Redpaw. Presumably because his paws are always stained with blood.
Well, now they're really staying with blood because
Hmm.
you cut them open.
He
Yeah.
literally like
Before,
ripped
so-
Kelariis' sword out of her hand by holding the blade.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love how he disarmed her and still managed to lose in like 3
Well, that's because
seconds.
Kelariis could teleport straight
Yeah.
back to her sword. He couldn't have predicted that.
No.
If you
Honestly,
don't
Yeah.
know about that kind of magic, then how the hell do you predict that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on beating a CR12 monster by yourself.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. If I didn't have those smites, though, I probably would have been
Yeah.
in big trouble.
Oh yeah, the smite.
I mean, that one
MVP.
round where you did like 84 damage to him was just ridiculous.
Yeah, also if he didn't miss like literally half of his attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He missed literally half his attacks,
Wait,
and he
what
messed
was-
up initial grapples.
What was his modifier? Like a 10?
Uh
9 or 8 at least, if not higher.
Oh, that's the wrong stat sheet. Where's he gone? Oh, I've closed him. Hang on. Sharg Redpaw has a +9.
Nice.
Oh, so it's actually still lower than Kelariis'.
Well, it's like
Only
a
by
50.
1 though.
Only by 1, yeah. But yeah.
Yes. So, after this duel, like, they disappear off, head up the mountain trail, and then it would be hard to see from the ground, but I presume you sort of like keep an aerial view on it, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep Scarlet up and like
Yeah.
if Scarlet knows if anything happens to come down.
So Scarlet's just like wheeling in the breeze above you.
Yeah.
She watches as a trail of goblinoids sort of turns and like paces back up the mountain trail.
And I guess we have to apologize to all the soldiers for dragging them down here.
Yeah, sorry guys.
I mean, to be honest, I would still keep them posted in the
No,
area
yeah, I
if
would
can,
too.
just in case.
Keep a permanent guard
Yeah.
in the area.
So you head
Well, I
back
guess-
into the town.
I guess we should like. I mean, Elizabeth would probably seek out whoever was the leader of these troops that got sent out.
Yeah.
And like actually say that to him. Like genuinely would be like. Yeah, I'd recommend. He said their leader said he'd be back, so I'd recommend a more permanent guard within the town, if possible.
Yeah. So
I would like also be part of this, but like a permanent guard might be a little bit much, but maybe
Well,
a lookout.
Yeah,
Just
lookouts,
watchtower.
just some extra security.
At least for a little
Till
while.
then, I think like a handful. Well, I don't know what your orders were exactly, but yeah, we still have to clean up their bodies.
Whoops.
Yeah, we should probably burn them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll start making. Yeah, Elizabeth's just like, I'll start making a bonfire.
This may not be what you came here for, but
Well, we
you're
had
still good muscle.
yeah. Well, we had wood around for making our fortifications. We could burn that. Yeah, I'll start making a bonfire.
Start cleaning up body parts. Like,
Yeah. Well, we'll do a big funeral pyre. There's not many, like, Elizabeth's working on the assumption that most cultures would not object to a funeral pyre,
Mm-hmm.
a burning of bodies, as a way to honor the fallen.
Okay. Yeah. So
Actually, I will also make sure to tell the guard to take note of the large amount of ogres, there were ogres, right?
yeah.
Yeah, ogres that it's slain.
Ogres and other creatures that were
yeah,
Well,
do you remember that time that
already
you
dead.
casually
In your face,
bragged
King.
about?
like. You may not care about it, but I think the king might be interested in hearing about this after my
Yeah.
previous discussion.
The guards are all like suitably impressed. So
Imagine Elizabeth's just like, oh, it's not a big deal.
the the discussion that happens over this like re-establishing a guard, Tobar is there and the member of the Helm's Guard, and they're sort of they're nodding in agreement to the idea of like setting up this sort of watch, and so yes, it's been a while since there was a regular guard here. I mean, I understand there was this deal with the princess, but even then the guard has been lacking somewhat over this time. I'm surprised that there hasn't been an attack before now. To which Tobar just sort of chuckles and goes, "Ha ha! I guess we were lucky."
I love to.
Yeah.
Me too.
But no, she's gonna. Elizabeth would like pipe up and like, I understand I understand if you guys might be short-staffed, but at the very least, watchtowers would be a good idea.
Yes.
At the very least, you'd get advance warning. Even if the guard can't fight off an attack, they'd be able to get people out before things got serious.
Hmm.
Don't worry, they know they may like guarding is their job. I'm sure they will.
Yes.
They have some know-how.
Yeah.
on the subject.
We can arrange for more regular patrols. I suppose having a resident marshal would not be a bad idea as well. To which point, Tobar sort of responds and says, yes, I have a lot of duties myself. I cannot take care of it the whole time. Perhaps old Eliwick would come out of retirement again. And, the guard sort of looks and says, she's a bit old for it, but maybe.
Wait.
Well, oh.
Wait, what did you just say then first?
What did I just say?
Yeah. What was that name you just said?
Eliwick.
I think I know that name.
I think you do as well.
What?
That's definitely a story that Von Dahl has told. Many,
Oh.
many times.
I don't know if anyone in the party remembers it.
I don't.
Well, that's the thing. I imagine it's a story Von Dahl has told a lot out of, like, during the time. Eliwick was the essential person that he left to take over his role after he left this particular town.
I mean that makes sense.
Well, I guess.
Eliwick is the halfling or the gnome, I
Gnome.
believe.
Yes.
Yeah, Eliwick was the gnome he left in charge.
Yeah. Well, I guess if.
Eliwick Stumbleduck.
Well, I guess I would remember that if it was that would be quite
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, like,
Von Dahl would have made a point of telling Grim that, just to be like, that's the only, you two are the only gnomes
Okay,
I've
I
seen
had a
willing to
brief
get stuck
moment.
in.
I had a brief moment where I forgot that Cat.
Like, Von
had
Dahl would have
played
said
Von
that he would,
Dahl.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
Von Dahl would have definitely told Grim about that, because he'd think all the two would have gone quite well.
The way I would put it is, well, if you ask him, say hi from Dahl.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd make her happy.
They'll know what it.
Tobar sort of like strokes his chin and says, "Why does that name sound so familiar? I'm sure I've heard it
well-
before."
Well,
It's-
we
it's-
know him. He's told us stories about how he had a job here quite some time ago.
Very stubborn.
Yeah, dwarf, stubborn, very passive, cautious, stickler for schedules and
Plaited beard, gold trim.
yes,
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one.
that's the one.
The old fart.
I remember.
Oh, fart.
Yeah. Elizabeth just looks at Grim and is like, I'm gonna tell him you said that. Don't think I won't.
He's a good friend of mine.
He'll enjoy it.
Yes, I remember. When I first started here.
Yeah, he's what was the town we set up near again? I've forgotten already. What was the town we set up
Hatcher's
base
Cross.
near again? No, it wasn't Hatcher's Cross.
Oh, Ivywood Market is... Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Elizabeth will say, yeah, he's currently watching over our home base near Ivywood Market.
Ah. Odd fellow. Didn't really have him down for one to settle down.
Well,
got old.
if
They have
you
accidentally had
if you listen to
apartments.
his yeah, Elizabeth will say, if you listen to his and like just the rest of the party, their stories, I don't really blame him.
Well,
He's-
Oh.
Don't like. He looks to the party. She looks to the party. Goes, don't tell him I said this, but he is getting on in years, even for dwarves.
well.
He would not admit to that.
Well, you just gave me leverage. So,
Hey, I've got leverage over you as well, buddy.
nah, just kidding.
You,
I love how
you
Kat
tell him
just
about that.
gets
I will
disrespectful
definitely
about
tell him
all.
you said he was an old fart. He will smack you for that.
Tobias just like folds his arms and like watches you argue.
Is it just us and Tobar now, or is one of the...
It's you guys, Tobar, and the guard captain. But like the guard captain's sort of like, well, I suppose if there's nothing else, I'd best get to my duties.
Oh, there is one very minor matter. Well, when we retrieved the princess,
Here
all
we-
our horses are now at, well, at let's go. What's it called again?
Helm's Blessing.
Helm's Blessing. That's it. I keep wanting to say Silver Helm, and I'm like, it's not Silver Helm.
No,
Not
this is
Silver
Silver Crag.
Uh,
They're at Helm's Blessing.
Helm's Blessing. So
Getting there.
if we could get a ride back, that would be much appreciated. So all our horses are stable.
He nods and says, I could probably lend you the wagon. We've got enough people to need to stay here. We'll make other arrangements.
That would be
And we've got one
most
horse.
excellent.
If you wouldn't mind, if you're planning on heading back soon, I might ask you to take a report.
That would
we'd be more than
wouldn't be a problem.
We'd probably stay the night, I imagine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
We're going to be here for I expect a couple of days sorting things out. It looks like the town's in not too bad of a shape, but there's a couple of burned out buildings and things that we should probably see too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, and Toba sort of turns and says, well, after all you've done, I can hardly turn you away.
yes.
It's appreciated.
Don't. Yeah, it's fine. The least we could do.
Guard captain just stands up, takes his leave, and disappears.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess
before.
before. Oh,
Go.
yeah.
Sorry.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. Before he leaves, I'll mention that we'll stop by tomorrow morning for the reports.
I'll have it ready.
Excellent.
Next up.
Yeah, we're great at talking in
Yep.
turns.
Yep.
I guess I look to Tobar and just say, Sharg mentioned not having to pay dues anymore after everything that happened. I figured that's something you would know more about.
He nods and says, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Well, the truth of it is, to keep them quiet, we were giving them a decent portion of the silver from the mine. Nobody knew about it. I told the people it was just general tax deductions, but nobody seemed to question it all that much. But I guess
You don't have to do it at all.
that will go away in rejuvenating this old place. Things were starting to get a little tumble down.
As much as people say money doesn't bring happiness, it certainly helps.
It builds buildings and puts bread on tables. Close enough.
Well, it doesn't bring you happiness, but it brings you things that bring happiness. Like
Yes,
a belly full of food and a nice drink.
Now that this all has been settled, what I assume you just plan on sticking around, or do you have other plans?
I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose this place has become as much of a home as I've ever had.
Well,
I've lived a long time. I suppose this is a good enough place to take a break for a bit.
well, if you will run into trouble again, or decide that you want change of scenery, you can always find us at the Amber Eagle. It's quite a ways away, so
Yeah,
you're always
like I said, we're based in Ivorywood Market. It's a few weeks' travel.
It is a decent trek, but not the longest I've ever taken.
Well, I mean, thinking of a person we all know, Pondal. Look at what his travels did to him. He's been traveling years.
it's just an opportunity. It's we're not gonna make you come there for no reason.
No. Yeah. It's an offer, not a.
I appreciate it, and with no disrespect to our mutual friend, he's also not half bear.
He's not.
Hmm.
That's fine.
And that's one thing I don't think. I think that's one thing we said about him. I don't think he'd actually take offense to.
Yes, I suppose that's right.
Just a
No, you're
statement.
not a bear.
It's like
Well-
pointing at me and saying, "You're not a drow."
That you're not. So, I must admit, somebody mentioned drink earlier, and that's all I've been able to think about for the last 10 minutes.
You know, for once, I could actually go for a drink. I don't normally drink, but I feel like I could go for one.
I don't
I
know, I
mean, we
think
did just
everybody
defeat an
can do
army like single-handedly.
Toa like raises an eyebrow and is like, really?
Really, what? Why are you raising your eyebrow like that?
He's gonna get you drunk.
Nothing. I have some ideas.
Well,
Nothing ever good comes from people saying they have ideas.
I mean, we're no exceptions to that rule, so.
Well, I mean, the
My
difference is
ideas
you guys
are
tell
flawless.
me the ideas. So, like, when people say, I have ideas, and then don't tell you, it's always worse than whenever they tell you, even if the idea they told you is bad.
Ah, but if I tell you, you'll say no.
And that's why it's bad. Look, I have siblings. You think I haven't had my experience with this?
just
But then again, I have
just
siblings.
relax
Of
and
course, I'm
let's
going
go
to agree to
further.
it anyway.
You argue your way to the tavern.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess. You. Yeah, I guess you end up in the tavern, and
Let's just take a moment to appreciate that we defeated an army.
yeah.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
It's like the extended victory music.
Killed 26 boys.
26 boys, and a lot of them at once.
And talked your way out of fighting a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, talked and intimidated /
Yeah.
beat up, but
Yeah.
It's fine.
it works. At the end of the day, it achieved the same thing.
So yeah, as you step into the tavern, you are greeted by a rousing chorus of cheers from a bunch of miners who are still sitting in the tavern despite the lateness of the hour. And yeah, I guess you are free to eat, drink, and make merry as you see fit. And Tobar will foot the bill.
Woohoo.
Oh.
Thanks.
Not like we're
Cole.
gonna gain the reward for saving the princess once we get back and have
I was gonna say, Grim is not gonna let that reward go. I
Well, we do have a
expected
debt.
you to
We do
bring it
have a
up
debt
to
to
the-
pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have expected it to bring that up to the captain earlier.
Yeah,
Oh
same,
no,
to be honest.
no! He's writing up a report. I'm bringing that report back, and then I can
It's an
Right.
excuse to, yeah.
Yeah, see the king again, and go. So,
So if
we
you
getting
ever
paid?
need anyone to spend a ton of cash on again for a service,
Please call us.
yeah. If you ever have need for mercenaries again.
Yeah.
Also, there you go. Have a victory fanfare.
Okay. So,
I thought that link was gonna be to the traditional tavern.
Oh.
anyway. Do you guys want to do anything, have any discussions, etc.?
so how did you end up stalling them?
Yeah. that was just like, well, we set up a bunch of traps, and then Arya did some spiky growth when they showed up,
had
and
trappy ones
I
and
blew them
spiky-
up a lot, and
Yeah.
that about sums it up really.
I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of them
and
took
that-
out, like,
Oh yeah, and that
effort.
elemental did pretty good work as well.
I
Yeah,
can't
the
even
other-
imagine what it must be like just marching and running into spiky growth all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
would
I
hurt
think,
so
to be
much.
fair, for 14 of them, the spiky growth was the least of their worries.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
toasted pretty bad.
Slightly exploded.
Crispy
Just a
boys.
little.
We had spiky boys, trappy boys, and crispy boys.
Elizabeth mimes as if she's smoking. It's like, and just goes, just how I like my goblins, extra crispy.
Oh god.
I just starts laughing at her own joke.
Have you had something to drink at
Yeah,
this point? Like,
Tobar reaches across, pulls your thing, and says, "I didn't think it was that strong."
I don't know if that's just the drink. To be
No,
fair.
that's just what I like.
It's hard to tell with this one.
This is just me.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of
No, I get that a lot.
I'll hold off on the second one then.
Don't worry.
Look, my parents are, well, no, only one of my parents is a bit wild. The others are pretty normal, actually.
That's a very curious comment with no context.
What?
that is a very good.
Yeah, that is.
Curious in what way?
Oh come on, you can't say something like that and then not have a story to tell.
I've got 3 parents. Is that not normal?
That's pretty unusual.
Is this
Well,
the first time we've
it's-
heard of this?
I mean,
It's just like.
Elizabeth's probably talked about her family quite a lot, but I guess I don't know if she's explicitly said this before. She's
Yeah,
always
but,
said
like,
her parents.
Yeah, most
And whenever
people
she
have
said parents, she was probably normally talking about
Yeah.
fairly normal human parents. It's probably something
Well-
she just forgot to mention, honestly.
Honestly, I would just assume that it's you being.
Well, she looks at everyone and goes, "Hey, if I did have 2 normal human parents, how would my skin be blue, and how would I have all of these like markings all over my face and the ability to do this?" And she just starts holding her breath for like ages.
I mean, I've seen some weird things in my time,
Yeah,
so I
same.
wasn't really gonna
Yeah.
question it.
I mean, have you seen us just like gestures to
Yeah.
the party?
Gestures vaguely
Yeah,
at the rest.
but then she goes, "Yeah, but usually people with my skin color have pointy ears," and she moves her hair out of the way.
But like,
And they don't come with like, you know, all of this, and she like traces some of the swirls on her cheek.
Oh, I thought that was just a tattoo.
No, that's normal. That's not tattoos. That's just markings.
Oh.
They're like all over the place, and she like pulls up a sleeve and show it off like all up her arm.
do they actually serve a purpose?
No, they're just there. Well, I don't know. It's just a Ganassi thing, you know.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what my 3rd parent told me.
Oh well.
So yeah, I have 3 parents. I
what?
have 2 human parents, and my 3rd parent's a genie, or Jinn.
And how does that? Well, I'm not gonna ask that question. Actually, I don't want.
Arya and I are having the same exact question.
Elizabeth just looks confused. It's like, what is? You guys
We're
haven't
not.
don't know about 3 people being together? Is that not a thing?
Well,
Well, I think you know the answer to that.
She then just sort of rolls her eyes, and goes, "God, could you guys tell that I was kind of, you know, kept inside a lot?"
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all have those moments.
Yeah, I didn't get out much as a child.
All of you think back to your relatively normal parents, and then
Yeah, my
Your-
parents are like as normal as they get.
your other friends whose mom grew them from a seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your other friend whose dad died, which inspired him to go on a lifelong quest.
But he still had normal parents
He did still have
Yeah,
this
they were
well.
normal.
while they were alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, as normal as a paladin to the dwarven god is.
wait, didn't Fee also kind of have 3 parents as well? Like,
Oh god.
the whole like the weird element to her was was she because like we remember like the big reveal of like that she was supposed to be deaf for life for one of the 2, both I can't remember.
Well, but wasn't that more that there was just like the influence of a like boiling out to a very bare like essence of it, but like influence of a third party essentially, as opposed to like a third parent in the way that we
Yes.
usually think of it.
I think we're just confusing ourselves now.
I think we're all
If
just...
your third parent could be a giant nebulous entity that may or may not be a thing or just a concept.
Well, hey,
I
if a
mean,
genie
my
counts,
third,
a
yeah,
giant
my,
concept
my
nebula
third parent
counts.
is a formless extra-dimensional being, so with insane magical power. So that's
And
kind
itty
of
bitty
close
living
enough.
space.
Yeah, and itty bitty living space. I don't know if the elemental plane of air is an itty bitty living space.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they have to share it with others.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, out of all of the things that we've seen and heard over the time we've been together, I don't think that tops the list of being, like, the most unusual, so...
Well, interdimensional
Fair.
parents.
Yeah.
Anything having to do with parents, family,
My
stuff.
family specifically, assumingly.
I don't want to point fingers, but considering the
Well, I mean,
conversation...
Come on, is it not, like, again, is it also not weird that I'm the only child who's blue? Like, my sister
did
and
we know
brothers
that?
are perfectly
I don't
normal.
think we knew that.
Again, that's probably something that she didn't mention because she just assumed that you guys would assume that.
What in the world is your face? Like what?
Okay.
Why?
Okay, here we go. I'm going over this now. There's my mother. She is a human. There is my
Okay.
father, who is a human. They are both
Right.
from.
Okay.
Then there's my older sister. She is a human. Then there
She's
is me, and then there is my two twin younger brothers, who are also human.
Right.
Okay.
So how did the genie get involved?
Oh, because well, my parents when they were younger did their own fair share of adventuring, and I don't know. They never actually explained how they met. They just explained that they somehow met on an adventure.
So, one of your parents liked a little strange, or
Both. Both.
Right.
What? They're like they come around to visit every now and then. It's great.
oh well. Hey, well, actually, like they may actually have.
They're a little.
If they ever
Well,
went up
wild,
north, they may actually have met my parents. Because if you're heading up to the, well, to what's the northern area called?
The north.
The northern
Is there-
north.
is
They
there a
find
good-
some land. 2 types of land, and they name them accordingly. Pranked.
There you go.
see.
How far north?
Up this bit.
Ardenstar.
Yeah.
Ardenstar. That's a cool place. That's a cool name.
Oh, if you go up north past Ardenstar, or if they've been there, there's a good chance.
Well,
that...
you know what? They were never specific on where they were, just what they were doing.
And what were they doing?
Well,
Don't
everything you'd
chuckle at me, Jayla.
everything you'd expect an adventuring party to do. Except they were just the two of them.
Hmm.
You know, fighting goblins, saving people, the standard.
Yeah, I mean, we know a fair bit of that business, I think.
Yeah, and then they met my third parent, and then they, you know, and then a little bit after that they settled down.
So, do you live with your third parent?
They're
Not
not always around.
not really.
Yeah, they've got a lot of their own stuff going on. You know, being a genie and all that, living in the
Yeah.
elemental plane of air. But they visit when they can.
More specifically, they are a vizier as well, which they are an advisor to the the genie council, or one of the genie councils.
They're quite busy, but they visit when they can.
Wait.
And they usually make a mess.
Don't genies
a mess-
also
a
do
mess that
wishes
me-
and stuff?
I mean, yeah.
Grim.
Yeah, but
say,
only a limited
you wouldn't
number
happen
of
to have inherited any of that power now, would you?
No.
Oh, well.
Also,
The extent of my inherited power is levitating off the ground for a bit, and this.
You're very proud of that.
I still don't really understand what it is that you're doing.
What do you
She's
mean?
holding your
Older
breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Try. Look, basically, I can hold my breath for as long as I want, which is really fun for tricking people into competitions to get them to pay for stuff. Like, if I ever have wanted a drink, I've basically gone to the nearest person in a bar and said, "Hey, if I can hold my breath for longer than you, you have to buy my next drink. But if you can hold your breath longer than me, I'll buy your next drink." They usually fall for it, but I could just hold my breath forever. So,
I'm not sure that isn't cheating, but
hey, I just said hold your breath.
It's dishonest at best.
It's underhanded, but it's not cheating.
Hmm.
I mean, come on. It's a bit like if
Tobar at this point is like leaning back with his chair on two legs, like,
Look, okay, let me explain it like this, okay? It's a bit like if you were to challenge Grim to a race. You just have a natural advantage. That's not cheating.
Well,
Yeah, but like,
surely in order
the
to
thing
ensure an even competition, we would shorten the relative length of the course.
Yeah, but, you know, if he's already drunk enough, then he might not acknowledge that.
I think the biggest.
Look, my point
difference
is, it's a fun trick, okay? It's a fun party trick.
Hmm. Oh
Look, it's just a fun party trick.
well, and trick
Also, one of my brothers always fell for it. It was really stupid.
Tobar leans back in his chair and, like, signals the barkeep and says, "Gorman, no free drinks for competitions." And Gorman just, like, sort of wipes the glass and goes, "Okay," and just, like, walks away.
Well. Hey, the good thing is, regardless of all like these questions we have now due to the sudden revelation of well, your family, we did keep our word, as in we didn't cause trouble. I assume this counts. I don't know if you remember one, but
Yeah, Tobar nods and says, "I remember, yes, No, I don't think we can count that."
I mean, technically we brought trouble. We just also stopped that trouble.
hey, how do we bring trouble?
We didn't bring it.
No, somebody else
Fair.
brought it. Wait, although we did say we would fix our own problem. But
I think you've more than covered that. I'm still mildly concerned about the fate of whoever it was that disturbed them, but I suppose
Yeah.
that is one mystery best left to itself.
some
That's-
questions you do
yeah.
not want answered.
Yeah.
They've moved to a farm.
Yeah, like what your brother keeps at the back of his wardrobe. And she just looks off into the distance, like, horrified.
Okay. Don't want to know that story.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I want to know, but I don't want to know
Yeah.
a lot of the story.
See?
And then she just sort of comes to you and just goes, yeah, siblings, what do you do with them?
We already know too much. Don't worry.
I love how she says that to me, and I'm like, I didn't know I had a sibling until like a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elizabeth's
who
just sort of
knows?
like, okay, you say that, Elizabeth's just like, what do you mean you didn't know you had a sibling? How'd you not know?
Well,
You guys said I was weird.
elves live a long time, and I hadn't seen my parents in a long time.
Also,
Yeah,
to be
okay.
fair, we said that we implied that you were weird, but we did not say that we were not also weird.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely weird.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
we own that.
So aside from Arya, do you guys not have siblings?
I do. My brother is younger than me.
Think real
Yeah.
hard.
Does Grim have siblings?
Yeah, that's a good
can't-
question.
I can't actually remember if I ever decided on that.
I think we established you have at least one.
Probably. I'm like pulling up
Pulling up
everything I
backstory.
have on Grim.
I think
instantly.
I'm pretty sure you have
all
a.
the files.
I'm pretty sure you have a younger sister because I'm pretty sure I wrote about her like not that long ago.
That could be.
I don't know that we ever made
well.
it concrete, but hey, now's the time to
Well,
decide.
Actually, it makes. You know what? I'm just gonna say it makes sense. Gnomes are not a one kid at a time kind
No.
of
Yeah.
bunch.
I imagine if any race was to be the one where you walk in and there's like 20 kids bouncing around, it's gnomes.
No, it's half.
No, that's
I was
halflings.
gonna say that's half.
Yeah, gnomes and well, yeah, gnomes have like 5 kids, halflings have like 20 kids. Yeah.
See, gnomes have kids to give them more names. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gnomes
More
have
names better.
less kids, but make up with how many names.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah,
you only have
because
3
names are
kids,
halfling
but you
family.
can come up with 20 names, then why not give each kid like 7 names?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Although you would have to come up with an extra name if you did that.
Some.
Anyway,
Yeah, back in character.
so are you guys done with your
Idle conversation.
idle conversation?
about
Are you,
family.
are you going to bed?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
Poor Kelariis needs a nap after like single-handedly just fucking up the guy. And most of the armor.
I'd imagine Elizabeth's still a little bit nervous about changing in the same room as people.
Oh, why should we just give you the space to change? It's not
Yeah.
like we're gonna be.
Oh yeah, there you go then.
We're not gonna force it upon you. It's like you must
Yeah.
change in front of us. No.
It's
Yeah.
like
That'd
the
be a little
shittiest
weird.
party hazing like ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, no, like we'll probably all just wait downstairs or something. Or elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so the night passes without event, and you guys awaken the next morning to discover that the overnight the temperature has dropped once again, and the ground outside is now basically like what was like slightly swampy mud is now like frozen solid, like a first layer of ice and snow covers
proper snow
everything.
then.
Again, this soundtrack is there's something gone wrong with the soundtrack and I don't know what it
They're
is.
not proper snow then.
No, there's no snow yet.
Oh.
Kelariis is probably like not aware of the fact that there's ice and like steps out and like immediately eats shit. Like,
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, straight on our ass.
Like if you succeed, you do that thing where you stand on the ice and just slide. And it's like, oh,
Oh,
No,
do you
you
want
do
me
that-
to actually make
You
this
do that
save?
thing where you
Go for
slide,
it.
just about catch yourself,
Okay.
then stand there for a bit like, what the fuck was that?
That's not...
oh.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
nice.
Okay.
Okay, the thing is like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
You wanted to fall on your ass.
I was ready to fall on my ass. I was like, fuck it, but yeah.
You
Like-
you dexterously fall on your ass.
You break your fall.
I
Ye-
just like sit very awkwardly instead of.
It just turns into that one vine of like the guy like sliding past.
Yeah. Yeah, for shits and giggles. Yay!
Wow.
Don't step on the ground. Don't you like hover?
Not all the
Never
time.
And
Oh,
hover.
not
I
all
have
the
to-
time. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's innate spellcasting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've levitate as an innate spell. So speaking of people who eat shit.
Here. At least I do great on ice because I'm super short.
Yeah, you're on lower
Low center of gravity, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall people just faceplant.
Yeah, Arya being who Arya is, being a Winter Eladrin and incredibly dexterous, doesn't even
Yeah.
like break a sweat.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine she has trouble.
Yeah, Elizabeth just goes, I did not expect it to be that slippy.
It's ice. It's kind of its whole thing is being slick.
I know it's ice. I've seen ice before. You know, I just tried to
Just
predict
making
how slippy it
sure.
would be and was slightly off.
Well,
I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, you didn't see snow until like yesterday, so.
well,
Oh, I can't wait till it
Turns
actually
out.
snows.
one thing more dangerous than an ogre goblin leader is some frozen water.
Frozen water.
Frozen
The
water
ultimate
over the
enemy.
dirt.
What would win? A party of
Frozen-
seasoned adventurers or some slippy ice?
It's
Slippy-
probably the
Some
ice.
slippy boy.
A slippy boy.
A slippy boy.
A slightly slippy floor.
This is
Okay.
a slip inside party only.
Good.
So, I presume then you guys are headed back to Helm's Blessing.
With the report.
Okay.
Collect report. Got a Helm's Blessing.
Okay. So you pick up the report. It's like maybe 2 pages. It's not that much. Fold it up, stick it in your backpacks, and
Did they write on both sides of the paper?
yes.
Good.
So you all jump in the cart and make your way up the road to Helm's Blessing. Where? Hold on. That's not working. Let's just play it normally. There we go. Upon arriving back in Helm's Blessing, you immediately notice that the large majority of the party decorations and festival preparations that seem to be going on seem to have disappeared or have been packed away. I guess you guys are heading to the castle.
Aye.
Well, let's hope it's not too big of a shitstorm between the princess and her dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
also let's hope they're happy to see us.
You head up to the castle, where you are greeted by a handful of guards who, upon recognizing you, let you in. You are again led to the side meeting room. My roll20 is broken, but that's fine. So you arrive in the meeting room, the one that's surrounded by banners and curtains and plush furnishings. You are met after a few moments by the Magus, Tallithsyr, who basically sweeps into the room and says, "Ah, you've all returned.
Yep.
That's excellent timing, if I may say so.
Oh, how so?
Well, Princess Alyssard is preparing to depart, and I'm sure she'd like to have some words with you before she leaves. Accompanying her as well will be the Helm's Ward. So, I suppose if you are looking to receive your reward, then you had best see him before he departs.
Of course.
You are escorted by Megaslin up to the basically it's not quite a throne room, it's more like an audience chamber with a seat at the top. Where the King Alyssard is sat in the center chair, sort of awaiting your arrival.
Elizabeth would instinctively do a curtsy.
Okay. The rest of you do nothing, I imagine.
Well, like, just,
I'll bow again.
Okay.
Yeah.
like just like like I acknowledge your like importance.
Yes.
But I do not submit.
I acknowledge
Yes,
your
exactly.
status. Yeah.
Yeah.
A polite bow.
Yeah, and King Bothros Alisard sort of like welcomes you in and says, "Please, come in, have a seat. I'm good to see that all of you have survived."
Yes. Well, fun story. By the time that we actually got there, is the army they'd already taken care of it.
Well, the vanguard at least, not the whole army.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But problem solved nonetheless.
I'm sorry, I don't quite follow. I was
Oh,
under
well.
the impression that you were here to report back.
Oh yes.
Yes. We have the guards report.
Yes, we have the report, but
You hand over the
Like, this
report
is-
and he starts
yeah,
like
what-
reading it.
because this is the king, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That was just in reference to the.
His disbelief that you left
Yeah.
the Reap
Yeah.
people to take care of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sort of like reads it through and sort of like. So you're telling me. Well. Perhaps I underestimated you.
Well, we did have 2 days of planning beforehand.
Well,
That's
Sure.
not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Regardless.
Yeah, Elizabeth says that like it's
Hmm.
a lot.
regardless, it was reasonable to have doubts, considering you had no clue who we were.
It seems.
But in future, if you if anything occurs again, then you will always know where to find us. But yes, we shall continue with the briefing, or debriefing, I guess.
Yes, quite. So, this chieftain in charge of the goblins, he is not dead?
No.
It seemed best at the time to leave the chieftain alive. For us, we made a kind of a deal that he would leave the people alone. But if we were to kill the chieftain, someone else would come in power, and our deal would be worthless.
Yeah, it'd be harder to predict what actions that leader would take. Whereas we kind of had information on what this Sharg, Redpaw, how he would act, and
King.
by simply playing our cards in the right way, we think we're pretty confident that peace has been secured, at least for the time being.
King
it's
Al-
likely that those who survived him would have come looking for revenge.
Yeah.
King Alisard like nods and says, "Yes, I'm inclined to agree. To create a power vacuum like that invites more uncertainty. I think perhaps you did the best thing to at least buy us some time. I cannot guarantee the goblins will not attack again the moment a leader is recovered or overthrown, but you have bought us time, that is for certain. And for that I'm incredibly thankful. You've saved not only my daughter, but my citizens as well."
It's the
We would
least
do it
we
again.
could do. It's the
Anytime.
least we could do, given that investigations are quite a likely cause of these tensions.
Well, yeah, that is the one small annotation that we assume is not going to be a problem. We did promise in return that we would not, send less mercenaries
We would not meddle
into their territory, which, well, considering the princess has been recovered, seemed like a fair trade.
He sort of folds up the paper and sort of says, "Well, I don't see any need to provoke them any further. We've always maintained a border anyway."
Yes. That was the only what would you call it? Notes?
Condition.
Condition. Yeah.
Well, I do not think that will be a difficult sacrifice to make.
Excellent.
Well, I suppose you've more than earned your reward.
That would be great.
Well, I would offer to reimburse you a little more for your efforts, but unfortunately the search for my daughter depleted our coffers somewhat more than I would have liked. So, if it pleases you, then I will give you your reward, and Magus Lyn may have something to offer you in exchange.
We would of course accept that offer. And well, I guess the only thing other that we would be grateful for is if you know anyone who encounters troubles again, be sure to tell them of our services.
Pass along our business card.
That's
Not many people come to me for advice on such a thing, but if your skills are ever required again, I will know where to come.
Well, that's what I was counting on, because I assume most matters that would require this would not be trivial. But yes. Yes, that would be great. Also, I was kind of curious, how is the princess doing? Like, because I think she didn't quite get what she was hoping for when she returned, but or is that a sore point?
King Assad sort of bows his head for a moment and sort of says, "What my daughter wants is between her and me, but I will say, considering everything that has happened, we did have a discussion, and I think perhaps in the future there is room for compromise, but there are certain conditions that must be followed. In fact, she is due to depart for the monastery very soon. If you wish to have one final word with her before she departs, then I suppose that can be arranged."
Oh, well, I think
I suppose if it
I was just making sure she was the fact that compromises were even considered is I feel like I've been fulfilled my promise to at least attempt to convince you, as ineffective as they may have seemed at the time.
I make no promises to you, Master Gnome, but she is my daughter. I will listen to what she has to say.
Oh,
Arya kind of mutters under her breath. It doesn't seem like you are.
Yo, mood, Arya.
Mood.
She's like clenching her jaw, but just holding her tongue for once, maybe.
Well, I guess if that's it, I guess we should. Well, I assume you have matters to attend to, so we shouldn't hold you up for too much.
He nods and says, "Yes, I will be journeying with my daughter. That is the first unconventional thing to happen. I will not stay long, but I will go with her, at least for the beginning."
I guess before you're ever heading off, I just wish you the best of luck in. Well, what will you even say to a king when you're?
Well, Elizabeth sort of. I guess Elizabeth at this point would sort of say like, well, then may Helm grant you safe passage. And she'll sort of bow her head respectfully.
And also to you all.
Arya's gonna speak up and be like, if you're truly listening to your daughter, then things will change. If not, then you aren't listening at all.
Well, now is not the time for that.
Now
Okay.
is definitely the time for that.
I am trying to,
Trying to be
create
diplomatic.
a good image here,
Okay.
please. No,
I didn't say anything offensive. I'm just being honest.
I
Yeah.
know.
Kelariis is like nodding, like, yeah. Yup.
Oh well. But yeah, we should. We will head over to the court wizard.
We will not take up any more of your time.
He waves a hand like you are dismissed. But as you walk out, he just watches Arya leave.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. Like, let's
Yeah.
go. I have had
Yeah.
a terrible week of men being shitty in this world. I am not gonna let you
Wow.
fucking walk all over me.
Okay, fair. But in character, Elizabeth will sort of turn to you and actually in Elvish go, "Was that really a necessary comment?"
And I'm gonna answer back in common, absolutely.
She's right. I assume I can, like, presume the content of the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Well,
Elizabeth just like puts her the hands together in front of her mouth, and it's just like, was that really a good idea in front of someone with such power?
Look,
Both
Power
as a
in general, it's important
religious
that he hears
figurehead
it.
and a literal monarch.
yeah,
Whilst
well, a
we're
literal
in
monarch
his
who is...
literal castle, surrounded by his soldiers.
well,
Look, if his soldiers want to tumble with me, we'll go. But also, it's not
Right.
fair to his daughter that he's basically imprisoning her. Like,
I agree.
that's just
I-
not...
I know where you're coming from, and I know it's awful.
it's
Look, let's just forget it. Move on.
well,
Let's not argue about this. Yeah.
So you're
We'll
going.
just turn and keep walking.
You're just going to go back to Megaslin. Okay.
Yes, we are.
well, I'm just happy that you kept it to that one sentence. It's like fair enough.
Look, one day his daughter's gonna be queen, is all I'm saying.
They just Lynn!
Okay.
Hey, yo, what you doing, home dog?
So
I'm sorry.
you step into Megaslin's laboratory, where he is currently doing a few things. He turns and says, so I presume the Helmsword has filled you in on our situation."
Yes?
Oh yeah, as in yeah,
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
whole the extra rewards
Oh,
situation.
yes.
Yes, indeed. So, I am authorized to pay you 2,000 gold for your efforts.
But
He-
wait, that's a lot more than was agreed.
No, was it?
No, 2,000 gold was the bounty.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was 1,000.
No, it was
2,000.
2,000.
Double bounty.
That's why it was so attractive.
Yeah. 'Cause otherwise, everyone would have just left that. No one eats the bounties.
Wow. So,
I mean, 1,000 is still a lot. But...
he
That's a sweets joke.
he counts out in mixture of gold and platinum, mostly platinum, the sum of 2,000 gold.
Damn.
And yeah, the as he finishes doing that, he says, "As for an additional reward, I must admit I'm not entirely sure what it was that the king was intending to give you. I have a small number of items that, well, technically belong to the realm that I could award you, I guess, as a thank you. The only other thing I can offer you is arcane knowledge, if you have any desire for any of that."
I assume
Elizabeth just has like big wide eyes, like a child that's just been handed a massive lollipop and is staring at Grim.
I assume you mean as in, spell description, or the scriptures that belong to spells and such.
If you have the talent, I can teach a small number of spells. I also have the ability to divine certain things, if that is what you are looking for. Either of these services I can offer you.
I feel like we should throw it into the group before we blindly accept that. Although we should also check that you actually that we don't already possess that arcane knowledge.
Okay.
Because that would be, because as grateful as we would be, it would be a little unfortunate if, well, we already possess the knowledge.
So he can teach you a number of wizard spells. The most interesting things that he has to offer is he can teach you up to 4th level divination spells, or a number of 1st or 2nd level regular wizard spells. So
3rd and 4th level divination.
3rd and 4th level divination, 1st and 2nd a number of different wizard spells.
Cool.
Well, I guess we might as well ask what kind of magic items he had in mind.
Well, I have a few rings, a staff, those sort of things, really.
Well,
I think I have a pair of boots.
might be worth. It's pending. Well, yeah. You just need to be. We should be careful with what we pick, considering our choices or would have led us to be able to handle these situations. So if you wouldn't mind us having a look at what they are, or you could explain it, that would be fine too. We'll take your word for it.
Certainly. I'm afraid I know the rudimentary elements of some of these items. Some of them are rather old magic that I'm not entirely familiar with. There is. I have one ring that is capable of protecting your thoughts from outside influence. I have one that is capable of projecting small bursts of force. The boots, I believe, are protection against extreme cold and low temperatures, as well as making you able to cross snow and ice with very little difficulty. The rod is somewhat unusual. I'm not sure anyone among you can particularly use it all that well.
Oh. Those are
What?
usually the most interesting, but
Well, what actually is it? Do you know?
I know what it is supposed to do, but I am not able to harness the power myself. I think it requires some sort of divine or natural understanding to use it. As far as I understand, the staff is supposed to transform into a snake, but I've never been able to harness the ability myself.
Well, we know what that item is.
Yeah.
well, considering our past with snakes, maybe we want to hold off on that one.
Snakes. It had to be snakes. Sorry.
But yeah, so what are people thinking? We've got what sounds like a ring of mind shielding. We've got
I've got one of those.
a ring of the ram, perhaps. I don't know what it's called exactly, but there's the boots of frost or whatever they're called.
Boots of the Winterlands is their particular.
No, Winterlands. Okay.
What did he say about the staff?
Or-
The staff could transform into a snake, but it required some sort of divine or natural
No, wait, no,
magic.
that was the rod. You mentioned a staff like right at the start, didn't he?
Oh yeah, sorry,
think that
that's
is
what I meant.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Or do you think we should maybe we can get some more utility on our wizard? Like,
Yeah.
'cause well, what do you two think? Or about free actually?
I mean, I'm
And
also...
maybe wizard utility would be good.
Yeah.
I kind of agree.
Question is, what utility?
As tempting as mind shielding would be.
Because for reference, assuming it can teach us, all divination spells up to 4th level.
Yes.
Yeah. The 3rd and 4th level divination spells are Clairvoyance and Tongues at 3rd level, and Arcane Eye and Locate Creature at 4th. So Clairvoyance is see a place, Tongues is you can understand any spoken language, and anyone who hears you speaks can understand you regardless of what languages they know. Arcane Eye is create an invisible eye that can
Honestly-
hover around and is invisible and sees things. Locate Creature, you know that.
I feel like just getting some low level utility might be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Getting-
like the clairvoyant or the tongues one sound good on.
I was thinking would he have that spell that allows for long distance communication?
Sending?
Sending.
Sending.
yeah.
Sending is one of the abilities he does have, actually. It's one of the spells that he has.
That's nice.
That might be
Yeah,
good.
that might-
Oh, guys,
No.
maybe we could use Skywrite.
God.
Because I feel like sending would help us in so many
Yeah,
situations.
sending would be
Yeah.
useful. Sending
Sending is like the only 3rd level non-divination spell he has.
Yeah. It's nice.
Because it's that good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just useful.
Nope.
That's the real question, though. How much magical secrets is he willing to give up?
If you
I don't-
want to learn
it's not
sending,
every
he will
spell.
teach you sending and 1 1st level spell.
Ooh, that's nice.
He does not have that many though, so
Yeah, I'll just look through some of the 1st level spells that might be good.
You have alarm.
Hmm?
Alarm
again?
is alarm
Alarm.
is an interesting one.
I
Maybe
think I've
Oh,
got
Arya
alarm.
has that, right?
Arya has
Do
access to
what?
alarm. Yes,
I've also got alarm.
I have alarm?
yes, you have a whole bunch
Yeah.
of spells now.
Now,
Oh, I know I have
yeah,
a bunch of spells, but I didn't
I
remember that
have
one.
alarm anyway. It's in my spell book,
I'm pretty sure you have alarm.
and because it's a
Oh,
ritual,
yeah, I
I
do.
can cast it for free.
Yeah.
Completely.
yeah, you have identify.
Yeah, I've got identify.
Detect magic?
Yeah, detect or
yeah.
or dispel. Well,
I've got
actually-
detect and dispel, but dispel is a 3rd level spell anyway.
Oh right, yeah. True.
Yeah, we have to think of 1st level spells. Okay, well 1st level spells I've got alarm, burning hands, comprehend languages, detect magic, featherfall, find familiar, identify, mage armor, magic missile, shield, and sleep.
There is... That basically leaves one or two spells. Wait, did you say Expeditious Retreat?
I don't have that.
Oh no, never mind. I was thinking, like, if you want something weird that we can do something crazy with, perhaps illusionary script. Because that would allow us to do some like interesting thing. Oh wait, actually, does that have a component?
It does. It costs 10 gold to cast.
Yeah. Yeah, because it consumes a lead-based ink worth at least 10 gold.
Yeah, but it does last for 10 days, so it is kind of
Yeah.
it is a very useful.
Pretty good, yeah.
But it is very niche.
It is.
Oh, what about Tensor's floating disc?
Tensor's floating disc is an amazing spell.
Creates a circular horizontal plane of force, 3 feet in diameter and 1 inch thick, that floats 3 feet off the ground in an unoccupied space of your choice you can see within range. Remains for the duration of an hour. I can hold up to 500 pounds.
It's basically
More weight
magic
placed on it, the
trolley.
spell- Yeah, magic trolley. If more weight is placed on it, the spell ends and everything on the disc falls to the ground.
You know what?
The disc is immobile while you are within 20 feet of it. If you move more than 20 feet away, it follows you to remain within 20 feet. It can move
Magic
across
trolley.
uneven terrain, up or down stairs and slopes and the like, but can't cross elevation change of 10 feet or more.
Magic Trolley does sound kind of nice, considering everything else already kind of have, at least the things that we care about.
So yeah, that just helps us carry a buttload of shit. Through dungeons!
Yep. I once, in my very first D&D party, we used Tensor's floating disc to cheat the DM because he gave us a load of loot in copper pieces so that we couldn't carry all of it, and then our wizard went, "I have Tensor's floating disc," and then we were rich.
Or, what's that? A chest we can't open? Just put the chest on Tensor's floating disc.
How long does it last?
An hour.
Okay, so it's not super long.
I mean, long enough to get in and out of places with loot.
Yeah.
And you can
Or
just
out of
recast it.
loot.
It's
Yeah,
only a
and then
first
just
level
recast
spell.
Yeah, it's first level spell, I can just recast it. Also, it's a
Just
ritual,
thinking.
so, as you know, if we've got 10 minutes, I can ritual cast it for free.
Oh, well.
Oh, it is a ritual, yes, that is a good point.
Yeah. I can also get Unseen Servant, that's a ritual.
I was just thinking of the poor people's backs who have to lift the 500 pounds into the disc every time.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's as long as it's not one thing, we can do it in pieces at least.
Yeah.
That's true.
We can also get Unseen Servant.
But it still beats having to well, it also beats having to carry 500 pounds by
Well,
yourself.
Also, technically, its cast time is an action, so in theory, you can do the exploit where you cast it, use it for 50 minutes, then spend 10 minutes casting it directly in the same space, so that when you finish casting the ritual, it just spawns underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say it's also not concentration, so like it wouldn't break anything.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what?
Or we could get Disguise Self.
I don't think
But I
that
don't
we'll
know
ever
how
get
much
any
use that
good
would
use
have.
out.
No.
Problem is, you just chat away and just tell everyone about it.
Wow, no I wouldn't.
The
To be serious.
the biggest restriction of disguise self is its disguise self.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a reason it's a first level spell, so.
Yeah. It's very good
I
on
think-
sorcerers who can talk their way out of problems, but less useful
Yeah.
on wizards.
I feel like Tensor's disc is the way to go.
You want Tensor's floating disc then?
Okay.
Not Fog Cloud?
Arya also has access to Fog Cloud, I believe.
Oh, there you go then. Tensor's floating disc it is.
Oh.
Sending and Tensor's floating
Having
disc.
some spells duplicate, we'll go with the disc, but having some spells duplicate is not always awful. if you
No.
don't always have access to the person.
Well, that's the thing. Sending's unfortunately not a ritual, but Tensor's floating disc is, so I can just keep that unprepared and cast it anyway.
Yeah, that's the advantage of being a wizard, is you can ritual
Yeah, I
cast
can
things
actually
you
ritual
don't have
cast
prepared.
Yeah, don't have to prepare them, and because it's a ritual, they don't use up spell slot.
So you're getting Tensor's floating disc and sending.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and because this is a reward, he will give you the materials to copy into your spellbook.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you only need to take time. You don't need to expend money.
Yeah. When Elizabeth takes them, she's clearly very, very excited and very, very thankful. Like, she does a stupidly deep bow
Okay.
when she says thank you.
Yeah. So Megaslin just sort of as he's like sort of going over this with you, he's like, "You're an incredibly fast learner. I've never seen somebody grasp these incantations quite so quickly."
Oh, well, I guess I had a lot of home study that I've been studying for quite some time already.
But you're not that old.
No?
I must admit, it's taken me 30-odd years to get this far. I would consider what you have achieved pretty impressive.
Oh. Thank you.
Sort of hands you the scripts.
Yeah, I'll thank him again.
Well, if that is all, I have experiments to get back to.
Yes, we won't keep you.
Thank you again for everything you did. I had a word with my brother, and from what he told me about what you did, it was... you didn't have to go above and beyond like you did. But you did anyway.
Technically, no one has to do anything.
Precisely.
It's just nice to do so.
Going above and beyond gets you a keep.
And we want that keep.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Wow. And there's no way that we could have avoided what was going on considering the circumstances. I don't think any of us would have felt alright doing that.
No, but there are many who would have. I'm just thankful that you did.
Well, if you run into some something particularly nasty or need help with anything that we can, that we might have to deal with, then you know where, how to call the Amber Eagle.
Well,
and
I'll keep that in mind.
You weren't too harsh on your brother, were you?
Oh, did we ever return the charming thing?
Yeah, we gave it to his brother.
Yes. Yeah, you gave it to Megason's brother, I believe.
Yeah, Elizabeth is generally like, you weren't too harsh on him, right?
I wanted to know what the hell it was that he was thinking. And after he told me, I was a little more forgiving. I think we've all been there.
Yeah, and you know siblings, they tend to do stupid things.
Yeah, it's just... when I did them, it wasn't with the princess.
No, yeah, that's fair. Everyone gets ahead of themselves from time to time.
Well, I'm glad my rebellious phase was leaving home to study magic.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have to leave home for that phase.
Well, you're quite lucky then.
It did take a lot of convincing, though.
Well, this won't get done by itself, so
No, of course.
thank you again.
And thank you. Elizabeth will bow again.
He returns to his experiments, and what do you guys want to do? I guess we'll take a short break and then come back and resume. But is there anything you want to do while you're here, or?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Except breaking in and breaking the princess out, because
Right? Yeah.
No, no.
Did Magus Lynn say that she wanted to speak to us, or that he thought maybe we'd want to speak to her?
He thought she may want to speak to you.
I guess.
I mean, if she wants to talk to us, I'll gladly talk to her.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I guess so.
So it's no reason to say no.
Okay. I guess we will get to that when we return.